Matanda village lay quiet beneath the rising sun, a peaceful place where each day began with the songs of birds greeting the dawn and the soft murmur of the villagers stirring from sleep. Life in Matanda had always been tranquil, simple, untouched by the distant worries of the world beyond. The grasslands around the village shimmered with dew in the morning light, and the baobab trees stood as ancient sentinels, watching over all. For Abena, this serenity had become a backdrop to a growing unease, a feeling that something was coming, something that would disrupt the peace she held dear. Abena, only 18, had always been a source of light and warmth in the village. Her deep brown skin glowed in the sunlight, and her long braids, decorated with yellow and red beads, framed her gentle face. This morning, she wore a bright orange and teal kitenge wrap that complemented her vibrant spirit. But today, as she stood by the river, filling her clay pot, a shadow of worry darkened her usually cheerful eyes. The whispers from the elders, her mother's cautious words, and, most of all, the heaviness she sensed in Kwame, all of it filled her with a mixture of love, loyalty, and unspoken fears. Abena thought, "Kwame, I wish you would tell me what burdens your heart. There is so much I feel I don't know about you, but my heart trusts you. If only you would trust me the same way." Meanwhile, Kwame sat beneath the old baobab tree, lost in thought. He was 24, tall, with skin a shade deeper than the earth after a rainstorm. His hair, curly and free, caught the occasional breeze, and his dark in Matanda, especially Abena. His indigo robe, embroidered with intricate golden patterns, draped over his broad shoulders as he clutched a small, worn leather pouch, a symbol of the life he had left behind and the secrets he still carried. Kwame thought that Abena deserves to know the truth. But how can I tell her about the shadows that follow me? I left my past behind, but it seems my past has not left me. Their love had bloomed by the river, their laughter a melody shared in secret moments under the sun. Abena would listen intently as Kwame recounted tales of distant lands, his voice like music that danced through her dreams long after they parted. She admired his strength, the way he held himself with quiet confidence, and the kindness in his eyes that softened when he looked at her. But now, that kindness seemed distant, hidden behind a wall she couldn't see, a wall that Kwame seemed unwilling to let down. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and cast long shadows across the village, Abena met Kwame by the river. She wore her favorite wrap, a deep purple and green kitenge, its colors rich and warm in the fading light. She took his hand, her fingers delicate against the rough texture of his palm. She could feel the tension in his grip, the unspoken words held in the silence between them. A dialogue. "Abena, Kwame, is something troubling you? You've been distant, and it pains me to see you this way. Kwame, Abena, there are things about my past that I've tried to leave behind. But I fear they may come back to haunt us." Kwame looked into her eyes, searching for doubt, for fear, but he saw only love and a fierce resolve. She was ready to stand by him, even as shadows from his past began to creep closer, lurking at the edges of their happiness. But as the days passed, Abena noticed strange figures lurking at the edge of the village, their faces hidden in shadow. She would catch glimpses of them at dawn or dusk, always watching, always waiting. The villagers murmured about old debts, secrets best left buried, and the younger children, once carefree, now whispered of dark stories as they clung close to their mothers. Abena's mother, a wise woman with silver-streaked hair and a calming presence, sensed her daughter's worry. One evening, she called Abena aside, her deep brown eyes filled with concern as she spoke. "Mother's advice, my child, love is a gift, but it is also a test. Sometimes, the past must be faced before it can be laid to rest." Abena lay awake that night, her mother's words circling her thoughts like a quiet storm. She remembered the gentleness in Kwame's eyes, the laughter they shared, the way he looked at her as if she were the only person in the world. But now, all of it felt fragile, like a vase on the edge of a shelf, one small push away from shattering. In the days that followed, Kwame grew more determined. He was ready to face the shadows of his past, but he feared what it might cost him. One evening, as the village prepared for a quiet night, Kwame took Abena's hand and led her to the river once more. Kwame's voice: "Abena, there's something I must tell you, about who I am, about the life I left behind." As Kwame began to speak, the weight of his secrets finally lifted, and he revealed to Abena the truths he had kept hidden. Abena listened, her heart heavy, but her love unwavering.